Hi, this is Xdinary, and I am here for my mid-year binder tour. And like always, I'm going to start with the JYP binder, which after knowing that I needed to for a long time, I did upgrade this to a 3-inch binder. So I am definitely in the position where I'm going to have to move out one of these collections because it's already pretty full. And when I get to the collection that will most likely be moving out, I'll say so. But yes, always start off with the very little Wonder Girls because they were kind of pre photo card, but I do have this postcard set, and it just feels right to have them as a part of this binder. Then we have 2 p.m. Not really active as a group, but I still love them. I just cannot find this Young. If I can find this Young, I will have this Young. So it's just continuously checking and hoping I find someone who lists this so I can buy it. Because then I will be done with the individual members for Must, because until then I will get this last unit whenever. It is not a priority. So that will be done when that gets done. But yeah, that's probably the only thing I could consider myself actually working on. Everything else is pretty casual. Like these stickers that come with the member exclusive versions of one of their Japanese singles. I do plan on eventually getting the rest of the members. This came with Must as a pre-order bonus. I only have Junkei. It's one of those things that, maybe I'll hunt them down. But if I get them, this is their home. Then some larger inclusions from Must. And they did pretty much a JYP Japan pop-up for all the artists that release through the JYP Japan store. So we have the 3 members that are still with JYP. They had their own little set together, so I got it. This is just extra page for extra Junkei cards that I end up getting, which is something I would like to expand on eventually. I have this one Nikkun card, which I randomly got trying to get because I needed to get something else, and it came with a set with the card that I wanted. But I actually would not mind getting more of his, and actually just more of any of the members. But we'll see what happens with that again. With 2 p.m., it's just not big priority. It'll grow as it'll just grow very, very slowly. But then again, they're not doing much as a full group, which is what I like them as. When I got back into K-pop, it was around the time Junkei was releasing his mini album 20 Minutes, so I actually pre-ordered that. So these are just from that album, and I ended up getting this coaster. So that's just his solo larger inclusions. And after 2 p.m. we have ITZY as the next JYP group that doesn't have their own binder. So at the moment, I am collecting select OT5 sets, and then also unit cards to kind of fill out the page. For this first page, the OT5 set is this Ice Cube set from their debut, and then the It's Me unit, because their debut release did not have unit cards. And then for this, I don't know why I blanked, but yes, this Rose OT5 set is Crazy in Love. The group is Not Shy. I still need one more, though. I may get a couple more because I realize that there's not a great variety in members here for the units. So I may get some more just so I can mix like the members featured in the units a bit more, but that is a later problem. So Checkmate, that is Checkmate, yes. This like wand and crown set from Checkmate, and the Cheshire units, which I love. I love the little kitty ears on them. For Ringo, it's actually all matching for units and the OT5 set. Yeah, I think I just happened to find like really good prices for the cards in general. So, and I love these little finger hearts. It's super cute. And I have been really slacking on this, which is gold, of course. I gotta figure out what other units I want to fill out this page. And then, of course, to get the other three, though I am finding like Chaerong, for some reason I can't find her anywhere. So I think I may have to buy more albums and hope I pull her. Yes, I think that's kind of what I've come to the conclusion of for at least the near future. And that'll be like where the expansion will come for this. But I definitely want to do gold because that's, you know, Leah's return. And I think I'll just kind of take a break after that. So in getting some of the cards for ITZY, ended up getting this, this postcard set that I decided to keep because it is OT5. If I do get more gold, I think I'll keep the full group postcards and put them up top and fill that up. And then for Kill My Doubt, since they had these little circle card things, I figured they fit the 12 pocket pages that I have very well. And thus they're there. And that is what I have for ITZY. A small, but a collection I'm pretty happy with. Because, you know, nice, small, relaxing collections are fantastic. And then we move on to Xdinary Heroes. I swear I thought I had everything set up. Yet I kept glazing over the fact I did not have that filled in. I don't know why it was empty in the first place. But yes. So, for Xdinary Heroes, my bias is Gunnil. When I was just starting to collect them, I figured I'll collect him and whoever, you know, my second favorite was, and that ended up being Junhan. But as I've been working on collecting, I realized that, well, Gunhill is not an issue. I could probably fully collect him if I wanted to. If I decide to, Junhan is another story altogether. So what I've decided, at least for now, since I may change my mind and fully collect Gunhill eventually, because again, he is the bias. But for now, I just want to fill this up with everything before Live and Fall. Just cards all from previous releases from that. Same deal with Junhan. So that's kind of what I want to focus on for the rest of the year, is just getting the rest of these and filling those pages out. I kind of came into them just time for troubleshooting, and I did collect OT6 for these, which are the mirror cards, which are the top and bottom set. And then of course I got their trading cards, because if there's anything that's really easy to collect with Xdinary Heroes, it's these trading cards. But yes, I did finish it up. These pages, they make me very, very happy. 100%. Very glad I did that. And then for Live and Fall, I happened to get lucky enough that with the trading events I go to, there's someone, they don't show up very often, but they are a massive Xdinary Heroes fan. And because of that, they do try to get into like fan calls and things like that. So they do a lot of bulk buying. And because of that, they end up with a ton of trading cards. And they happen to have a ton of Live and Fall. So I was basically able to get everything but like one of Gunhill's cards, and actually two of Junhan's. I actually got one of the ones I was missing. So I'm still missing two cards. That actually needs to be the priority. It's just getting those last two cards, so then I can have the complete Live and Fall sets for Gunhill and Junhan. But yes, that's basically what I have plans for Xdinary Heroes. After that, I'm not exactly sure, especially since, you know, they've had another release after Live and Fall and I have done nothing for it. I have no plans for it. I know I want to do something for it. I just don't know what. So right now, goal is to collect and finish filling up the pages I have, and then I'll figure out what I want to do going forward after that. And I do have some unit cards, or group cards, and they're just living here where all group or unit cards I happen to get shall live. And I do have the postcards from troubleshooting. And then after Xdinary Heroes, I have NEXZ or NEXZ. So this this is going to be the collection that will have to be moved into their own binder, because they are easily the largest. And I'm definitely going to keep working on growing this collection. I love this group. So I've collected OT7 for at least the regular editions for all the releases so far. And then for things like the Nemos and the limited, I've done top 4, which is Seta, Haru, Yu, and Sogon. Though honestly, for 4th, it could be almost any of the other members too, but I want to keep the besties of Seta and Sogon together. And also, Yu's kind of expensive, so Sogon's not so bad. This is the Nemo set for Ride the Vibe. So, or yeah, the full member set for that one. This is their Japanese debut single, the regular version OT7 set. And for this, because there were going to be 3 cards across the limited versions, I only collected 3 members. I didn't collect you because he is pricey. So instead, I collected Sogon in his place. And then we have Nalina, the regular editions. The back's, it's supposed to kind of make a Z, but for that to work, there's no way it's going to like fit well because Sogon's card needs to be at an angle, so it's just gonna look a mess instead. And I'm fine with that. And again, for limited and Nemos, it's that top 4. And this is the OT7 set from the Nemo. And then we have Oh Really, which after getting the initial albums, I haven't done too much work with. There will probably be some slow expansion for a little bit. But yeah, so these are basically just what I pulled. And because of how things played out with Oh Really, I'm doing OT7 for everything. Basically because with the limited edition, you get 2 cards. Or yeah, the 2 out of 7. So I figured that will be too hard. And then they didn't do a Nemo version, they did a Plov version. There is no random card in this, so you only needed to buy 1 version of it. So that is what I've done. And yeah. That is what this is. And that's also why I'm doing OT7 for the limited edition, basically. These are unit cards. These top 3 are, yeah, they're from their debut. The bottom, or these 2 rows are from Nalina. This is from the limited edition. This row and this row, were cards that came with the Nemo. So, and that's all I have for album cards. I do need to start setting up, since they have their first Japanese mini album that'll be coming out next month, I believe. But since it's next month, I'm not in too much of a rush. So I do collect some non-album stuff for them, since I kind of like buying things from the JYP Japan store just because I can. So I do buy some of these unit sets, usually when they come with like a pop-up store or just merch in general, they'll have a set. This is from their first showcase and their first unit set. This is from the JYP Japan pop-up for the merch that they released for that. This was part of that. And this is for their first Japan tour. So this is the latest. And that is what I have. I figure I'll buy like at least 2 sets every year for them. So for the first 2 were 2024. This is the first one for 2025. And so just keep my eye out and pick up one more set for 2025. And as I mentioned, Seta, he is the bias. And because of that, I did want to collect some pops, not a lot, because it can get crazy with pops. And there are other groups I collect, like pops for members, and I wanted to put some kind of limit, but I just still also wanted to have some. So what I've decided is that for each release, I will get 4 pops. This is for their Korean debut, and then these 4 are their Japanese debut. This ID came with kind of like a little file thing that they released for each of the members as part of their not pop-up, well, I guess it is their first pop-up, but their showcase, that's it. Their first showcase, they released merch, which was their first pop-up as well. So that's what I got, and I figured that works perfectly as a centerpiece there. This came in the Nalina limited edition. You had IDs. I forgot this was not not actually attached to the sleeve. But yes, you got a full set of these ID little cards. So I figured that's going to be the perfect centerpiece for the second page. I haven't done too much for Nalina yet. I do have this one card. I should hopefully be getting the other 3 to finish up for Nalina in the near future. But with this, since it's not just pops, it's lucky draws and like merch cards connected to the release. I'm not in a hurry because it usually takes some time after a release for everything to come out, and then I can just like pick my favorites. So this is always going to be a little delayed. But yes, that is what this page is for. And as I mentioned, they have I got the full set of these ID cards. And I wasn't sure what to do with it, but then to get one of the cards I needed for Sogon for their Japanese release, I ended up with, an extra pop. So I figured, you know what, why not just have this page where I will get some kind of pop, lucky draw, merch card tied to a release for each of the members. So for their Japanese debut, have the Sogon. This U is for Nalina. I finally got around to getting a card for their Korean debut, which is going to be a Huey card. And now I just got to figure out, who I want to get for O'Reilly, but that's basically how I plan on filling that out. And so I don't get rid of any pull unless it's a dupe. If I pull a member that I'm not collecting for like a limited or a Nemo, I just keep it. Partly because I keep wavering and thinking that maybe I should go back and collect OT7 for everything, but I don't know. And because I don't know, I don't want to get rid of these cards. So I just keep them, and they just kind of live in these pages in the back. All right, and then we have the larger inclusions, which I definitely need to still work on. I don't have everything, because I do actually want to collect OT7 if I can. So whatever I pull, I keep, and if I pick up any, I pick them up. So I have Haru and Seta for that version. Yes, for Haru, I have all of his. I'm missing Seta's version for this. I happen to have you. These are the limited edition versions. And that's all I have for Ride the Vibe. And they had this little sticker. And that's also partly why I have this extra page, because I do hope to get more of those Ride the Vibe postcards. And speaking of which, this, with the limited edition, you got a set of unit cards, or postcards, and that's what that is. And Nalina, you got postcards, and with the limited edition, you got these kind of Polaroids. I am missing, yeah, just Sogon and Huey, so might try in the near future just grab those. I'll have to think about it. But yeah, and of course that's the other postcard from Nalina. And then for O'Reilly, there was a sticker sheet. Then this, you can actually kind of punch them out of their little ovals here. I decided not to do that and just storing it all as a single sheet. Then for the regular edition, it came with like these big sheets. I really don't have anything that they fit in except for like these single pages right now. But I had Tomiya, Seta, Huey, and Yuki, because I managed not to pull a single dupe, which was great. And then one more group in here. It's gonna look really sad at first because this is for Kickflip. I originally had plans to collect Juong and only him, because I know for Kickflip, with as many cards as they have, I really can only like invest in collecting one single member completely. And I thought that was going to be Juong, but as I watched more of their content, my bias changed, and it's definitely Amaru. But I don't have any of his cards right now. That will be fixed in the near future, but for now that's just a blank. Their debut, they did have a Nemo, so this is the full Nemo set that it came with. And they also had first press cards, which is what these are. And I did collect OT7 because I kind of love these cards, and it also balanced out so I could fit everything else on the single page for one member if I collected one OT7 group. So I did. And then they just had to come back. Thankfully I did pull some Amaru, so I do have something for the collection. This page is for 2 of the regular versions, because then the third one only has 2 photo cards, and then I think these 4 will be, yeah, 2 will be the random cards. I keep on forgetting if it's actually a Nemo that they released this time around or not, because now JYP is like changing up what kind of like digital album version they're releasing for groups. But then they also have a digipack, so it'll be digipack and digipack first press, and that's going to be what completes that page. And yeah, for the digital album, there were 2 of them, so I have 2 OT7 sets from there. And like last time, I do plan on collecting the first press cards for like the regular album, especially since these are like a continuation of the original set that I collected OT7 for. I only pulled this because they gave me double of Donghua. But yes, I do plan on having that as an OT7 set. Also in the digital albums, they had unit cards, well, group and unit. So I now have a group and unit page here in the back. So I've decided when it comes to the digipacks, whatever I pull, I'm keeping. Because even though I could let go of like the cards for Juong, I didn't want to let go of the little sticker that I pulled for him. Also pulled, well, from their latest release, Kick Out Flip Now, have Minjae, and this little coaster thing came from the first press bonus, and I pulled Gaon. And this is just a sticker that came with their debut, and you know what? It fit a 2-pocket page, so I put it in a 2-pocket page. All right, and then final section, like I've mentioned earlier, I do purchase from the JYP Japan store, since it's very easy to do so through ITZY. And every time you put it or have an order through them, when they send it out, they put in one of these kind of printed signature cards that all say thank you. Though of course it's arigato gozaimasu, you know, Japanese, basically the Japanese words for a thank you, except for Chanbin here. He decided to be an individual and write it in English. But yes, and it doesn't matter what you get, you're just gonna randomly get one of these cards, so they're not always going to match whatever you purchased. And so far I have Sana, Mina for Twice, for Stray Kids I have Bangchan, Changbin, and Sumin. And then I have an ITZY, Chaerong. And then for NiziU, I have Maya, Riku, and Ayaka. And with my last buy order and what I got from the JYP store in it, I got my first NEXZ, and it's Seita, and I'm so happy that he got to be my first one for that group. Cause yeah, Mina is my Twice bias, Sungmin is my Stray Kids bias, and Seita is NEXZ bias. So I just need a Nina and Ryujin to have all my biases there. But yes, I know in the near future I definitely need to move NEXZ into their own binder. I mean, they're definitely at the point where it just seems like they could definitely fit their own binder. So that needs to happen before the end of the year. So that will definitely be a change. And of course, for goals for NEXZ and Kickflip, all it is to just try to keep up with their releases, basically. Like I said, with Kickflip, I do have, if not all, the vast majority of Amaru's cards that I need for their debut release, I'll have, and then I can start working on their first comeback. With NEXZ, I'm definitely going to start, you know, slowly working with O'Reilly and completing that. Not sure if I'll have, probably won't do it in time before their first Japanese comeback, which is that mini, but that's fine. That's kind of what happened last time too with I was still working on their Korean debut when their Japanese debut kind of hit. So I'll work through it and I'll figure it all out for that. Just a little worried because being a mini album, it means things are going to be a little bit more expensive for the photo cards, but I'll figure it out. I'll make it work. And again, that's basically all I want to do, is try to keep as best I can keep up with the releases of those groups. Because thankfully, I've been collecting both since debut, so there is no need to go back and collect. So with that completes this binder. And then we get to move on to Twice. All right, and of course we're starting with my first Twice binder, because Twice is definitely a collection large enough that it cannot be contained in a single binder. And hasn't been since a very long time. But yes, my bias is Mina. So I completely collect her for album cards. And for the first few releases, I just collect her cards. It worked out pretty well just to collect one member. I did this OT9 set though, because those were pretty easy to collect. And this is the last page where it's just Mina, starting with What is Love. It is a mix of top 3 Mina and OT9 sets. It's just basically however I can figure out how to fill a page. So we do have a Jihyo and a Chewy here. And then we go on to OT9 sets. And so I had like 2 goals for my Twice collection. One of them was to finish off What is Love. So as you can see, with these wonderfully completed OT9 sets, I have already reached that goal and we're only like midway through. But I have decided to pick up collecting a group that has quite a bit of backlog, and when I decide to do that, I've decided that I'm going to really double down and focus on Twice and back collecting, so I can hopefully, if not be done, be very close to done and caught up with Twice by the end of the year. So that's the new goal. And I do feel like there's a very good chance of me actually, you know, achieving it. As you'll see, I have pretty good progress on like some of these collections. Like Summer Nights, I'm very close with. Yes or Yes is actually one of the collections I really need to work on. But I am focusing more, or recently been focusing a little bit more, and that has gotten a lot of, or made quite a bit of progress. So most of the collections, I'm not missing too many, and I have quite a bit on the way. The next NeoGyo haul that I have is going to have quite a bit of Twice. Europe, yes, I do need to work on, but on the one hand, it's also a collection that is very small in general. There is not a lot to collect for it, so I'm sure I can knock it out pretty quickly if I focus on it. But right now, I'm just trying to like grab whatever I can. I know I have a lot of Fancy You coming, so hopefully really want to finish up this one now that I'm only one card away. Yeah, I think I have everything I need to finish up Fancy You upcoming, so that will be great. Feel Special is another one where I feel like I need a lot of work on. I know I picked up a few cards, and again, now that I'm focusing, hopefully things will start progressing a lot more. And it's not like I don't have some OT9 sets finished for these. And honestly, when I downsized to my collection like this, I had all of Chewy. I had all of Chewy's cards. I had most of Jihyo. I wasn't completely done with her, but I had the vast majority of hers. And I had already completed Mina long ago. So yeah, it's really just OT9 sets and like the stray Jihyo card here and there. More and More is another one that needs a bit more focus. I mean, it seems like a lot, but I have a feeling that, you know, once I get that NeoGyo order in, it is going to fill up a lot of these. And basically, it kind of just starts with Summer Nights. And let's see, Eyes Wide Open. I know I've made sure to pick up some more to make some good progress with that. And so Taste of Love was the other collection I had decided that was going to be my goal to complete, because the previous year it was finishing up Formula of Love, where I collected OT9 completely for that one. So I am only 2 cards away from completing this now. So yes, it will definitely be done. I know I have this on the way. I still need to pick up the Momo. For some reason, this one Momo card is kind of pricey for a Twice card. I do not know why. But I'll definitely pick it up. And then I'm done with Taste of Love. And yeah, you've seen what I have to do, and I have a feeling that I can knock a lot of that out easily before the end of the year. And I will be so happy to be caught up with Twice. All right, so yes, like I mentioned, Formula of Love, this is a complete collection. It is all OT9, because this was the release or the first comeback that was released after I actually officially got into Twice. So I want to do something like special as like a monument like to that. And it also helps that Twice cards are pretty easy to collect, so. But yes, I cannot wait until I'm able to just flip through this entire binder. And all it is full 9 pocket pages. And I'm getting close. And of course, Formula of Love is where this binder ends. So yeah, like I mentioned, I am going to be, oh no, pages are trying to escape. Don't do that. Come on, there we go. But yes, going to focus a lot of back collecting. So hopefully by the end of year flip through, if it's not done, I should only be like 1 or 2 cards away from having this complete. But I cannot see how I cannot have this finished. Because like I said, I'm getting a good batch of cards later this month. That should hopefully fill a lot of these blanks. And I'm just gonna like keep continuing on until it is done, because I would love to have one of these larger collections that I have just, you know, be done. And I'm so close here with Summer Nights, so close. So yes, that is what I have for my first Twice binder. All right, on to the second Twice binder. And this is basically where we pick up with between 1 and 2. And since I am pretty much buying these albums as they come out, I do have OT9 sets for their pogs that they come with. Also, to balance out the page, I have for some of these releases used like the Target exclusive versions and done that, like here with Ready to Be. Didn't do that for this because I think it just, because I did more OT9 versions than usual, and plus this is where we start getting the Nemo versions, where I only collect Mina. Thankfully, she's the only one I collected for, because she was pricey. She was probably one of the most expensive members to get all the Nemos for. And of course, I had to do this for my OT9 set for this release. So cute. And I've noticed I tend to just do like the Digipack release as my OT9. So I think that's just become the standard now. So we also now have the OT9 sets that come with the Nemos, which is what these 3 are going to be. And then, of course, we're back to the usual pops. Or kind of more like first press edition releases, I would say. And we are on now Strategy, which is their most recent release of this recording. They have announced their next release, but that doesn't get released until next month. So recently I have been picking up my work with strategy to finish it up. So I'm not completely done, but I'm very close. I've at least gotten these the top 3 pages done. I only need the sauna for this OT9 set, and it should be on the way. I did just recently complete this OT9 set, and these will all be on the way as well to complete the Digipack OT9. And again, the Nemos, they haven't announced a Nemo or like a digital album format for the upcoming Twice album, but there's still plenty of time for them to do that, so we shall see. But yes, so strategy is just about ready to be completed and should be done before the next album, where I've kind of set up. I'm not sure if this is going to be the setup, because again, they haven't announced like a digital album version like a Nemo yet, and they still might, and that will just change everything. But if they don't, this is what I'm going to assume, because it might change if I see like they have some really cute album sets and I decide to do more OT9 sets this time around. But for now, seeing that it is like the standard release with the standard, I'm gonna at least collect 1 OT9 set from the album cards, the OT9 Digipack. And then these pages I didn't bother to put placeholders in because they are going to be those OT9 first press packs that you get. So I just didn't feel like there was a need, because I'm gonna be getting all 9 of them all at once, and I just have to pick up a copy of the album. So I do have the setup for their next release, and now we're going on to other non-Twice album stuff. Mina has her own section, of course. This first page is basically POBs and store exclusives. Well, this one is actually from the limited edition for Formula of Love. I decided to just put it here because there really wasn't a spot for it since I was doing full OT9 there, and this I was not going to do full OT9 for. I was just going to stick with Mina, so I did. These are just, yeah, this is kind of like the miscellaneous Mina card page. I do have one of these message cards for Ready to Be, but this is a message card that I've ripped the back of, because the one that is actually with the album cards, the back is still intact. I just wanted to have one without the back intact, and I placed it back here. And these are Japanese cards. Very random, because this is like from one of the JYP store sets. I think these are album cards, and so are these. Yeah. It's kind of a mess here, but I just don't have that many cards. And I do have a random postcard for her. And that's basically all the Mina exclusive. Then we have random non-album OT9. I got extremely lucky and happened to get, or happened to find 2 unopened copies of their monograph, one for What is Love, which is what this is, and Fancy You. So since they were unopened, they still had their OT9 sets, so I just went ahead and kept them, because it doesn't seem right to break that up. And for OT9, this is also where I've put all like their group cards. I do plan on eventually coming back and sorting through these so that way they're all set to face the same way, because JYP keeps changing it up which way they're gonna have these things face. It's annoying. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So eventually I'll break down and I'll fix that up. These are all Japanese group cards, which is why they're on their own here. And then we have units. Basically, if I happen to get a unit, I'll keep it. So these are just all the units I've happened to have pulled so far. Oh, I think I have a blank page just in case I get more units. And then for, yes, Ready to Be, they had in all their digipacks, they had a unit card. So I collected all 9 of them. So they get their own page. And now we're on to solo releases. Basically, if I like the release, I'll buy it and I'll collect some of the cards. How many of the cards I collect will be dependent on, you know, favorites. I did like Nion's solo releases so far, but I've collected a single page between the 2 of them. For Jihyo, since she's my second favorite, I collected a full page for her. I think the only member I would fully collect every single one of their cards was if Mina did a solo. And speaking of, so for Misamo, I do have plans on collecting more. In fact, I finally got around to picking up another Misamo card. This is going to be very slow going. I do want this larger, but because the cards are kind of pricey, I will not be able to go all out. I wish I could, but yeah, being all Japanese releases, these cards are kind of more expensive, but I am definitely going to try to be expanding on this. So I have more than just these 2 group cards for their 2 releases. And of course for Chewy, she is third favorite, so she gets a page as well. And then I have this. This is my little cheat page for basically if I have cards and they kind of go over what I limited myself, but I really don't want to let go of them. I didn't want to get rid of this Jihyo, didn't want to get rid of these Chewy. These are the lenticular, they just didn't fit the page, and it's like, but I don't want to get rid of them. And I found this Nyan, and she is so pretty on it. I just had to have her, but again, she didn't fit that page. So she gets to live back here. So this is my little cheat sheet kind of page. And that is what I have for this binder. And yeah, I think I'm good for at least a couple more releases before I start having to move the non-album cards into another binder. So I'm happy with that. Overall, just happy with my trading card collecting for twice in general. Been moving pretty smoothly, so yay. That said, I do have one final binder for them, and that is going to be their larger inclusion binder. So let's get to that. All right, and this is my larger inclusions binder. At some point, I am gonna have to upgrade to a 3-inch, but for right now, I don't have enough in here to actually truly need a 3-inch, but just so that way everything is nice and uniform. So got some stickers here. It's not really sorted the best. Like, I start with the 2 pocket pages, and now we have some 3 pocket pages, where I have a couple of Twice Coaster Lane, as well as a What is Love, and more What is Love. And whenever I get any of the Year of Yes little member stickers, I keep them, and I put them in the 12 pocket page. And then, yeah, I'm not really sure where to put it, so it's just randomly here. So yeah, just mostly postcards, the NiziU lenticulars. I have kind of shifted these pages a little further back so that they were with the other 3 pocket pages that are like this. Since with more and more, I have that there for the ones I have. Again, for a lot of the older releases, I basically aimed to collect the Minas and then whoever I happen to get. Once upon a time, I had plans on collecting more. But right now, not so much. Just because there's usually just so much for Twice. Between 1 and 2, I do have all these Polaroids though. And I did collect all the postcards. I did try to also collect matching stickers, but in the end, I never got Chase, but I'm okay with that. I mean, if I come across it, then great. If not, oh well. Ready to Be, postcards here, and did have OT9 there, right? Yeah, Nyan, Gion, Momo. That's right, that's how and this is 6. So for the digipacks with this stuff, I do actually try to collect OT9 for them. Like with Ready to Be, I came up with this idea of having the stickers on the back of them, since it really kind of fit in with that moon, and I've just kind of continued that on. But I do have at least Ready to Be complete for everyone. I need to work on With Youth at some point. I don't have everything. I do have a good amount though. But yeah, still missing a few things here and there. And then these are the Walmart exclusive photos. I only got 7 of the 9. And of course, I'm missing Mina. But, you know, I can't buy it anymore. And I've just never found the Mina or the Momo for like decent prices. Maybe if someday I do, I'll get them. If not, then I'm just gonna settle with the 7 I have. And then we have Strategy, where so far this is basically just all my pulls. I was actually very lucky, and I have all these 3 completely done. Not so much with everyone else, but yeah, at some point. Which reminds me, I probably do need to add the pages for their upcoming comeback to this. I totally forgot about setting this up. Oh well. I don't think about the larger inclusions as much as, you know, the photo cards. And then for solos, I just pretty much just keep whatever I pull. So these are the Nyan things that I've pulled. NiziU. I swear I had them okay for a moment and then they decided to shift. They're difficult things to store anyway. Yes. And then of course Chewy. And I ended up getting this Mina postcard, pretty large postcard, but either way, it really only fit the one pocket page, and thus this is where it lives. And yes, mostly my twice larger inclusions are a mess. I just don't have as much passion to collect most of them, though I do like, you know, my little collections with these digipack extras. I do need to work on them more, so I have more than just one release worth completed, but that will happen when it happens. But yeah, like a lot of my larger inclusions, I'm never going to super stress about finishing them. I will get to them when I want to get to them. And sometimes I just feel like I need to get larger inclusions, so I let myself do that. You know, when the impulse hits, I go ahead and follow it, which is how I actually finished up Ready to Be. Is like, I felt impulsive, it's like I need to actually finish one of these, so I did. But yeah, and since it's so very lax, I have no goals whatsoever for collecting. It's just going to keep housing all my larger inclusions in this, and eventually go from a 2-inch to a 3-inch, just because of course when my photo cards collection outgrows the other binders, it will start sharing this until it needs to be kicked out and get another binder. Yes. That is how it rolls. All right, so with that is twice completed, and then we can go ahead and move on to Stray Kids. All right, and here we are starting with my first Stray Kids binder. And so far the only one I've upgraded to a 3-inch. I do need to do that for my other Stray Kids eventually, but they are not in need of it yet, so I've been holding off. But yes, currently I am fully collecting my top 4 members. Sugman is my bias, Felix is the wrecker, and Mangchan and Lino are also favorites. So yes, I fully collect all of them, and I'm very happy to at least have the first 2 releases completed, because then it starts getting a little sad when we go further into the IM era, though not as sad as it used to be. Like, this page looks nice. It looks very nice now. So yes, with any luck, I can maybe possibly, I know it's a big order, but I do kind of want to finish off I'm Who by the end of the year. I'm not sure if I'll manage that, but I mean, I have all of Chan's stuff. I'm only missing a single Felix. Sungmin, I need 2 of his cards, and that won't be too hard. Lena will be probably the big, well, not so much issue, I guess maybe stumbling block, because he is one of the more popular members, and thus he is going to have some of the more expensive cards. I got really lucky for being able to buy these Felixes at a pretty good price. So I don't mind paying a bit for this final Felix because it's only one card I have to worry about. Unlike Lino where it's all three. But we'll see. I mean, it's still a goal that I want to set for myself because it is basically, what? It's 5 cards on this page. Well, I guess technically 7 since I do need to get that Lino. I'm not too worried about that. People have no problem selling or even giving away these sketches there. Yeah, and just getting that Lino. If I got like white border Lino, I have like a page completed. Get this one, it'll be another page. So yes, I don't think it is out of the realm of possibility I could finish I Am Who by the end of the year. So that I've decided will be a goal. I Am You definitely needs to be another year or so. Yeah, still got to work on it, though I have made at least a little progress. So it's not looking as sad as it once did. And with Miro, that was actually my goal for the year, is to finish completing Miro, and I just need this one card and it will be done. Oh yes, and I think I forgot to mention that even though I am collecting top 4 for everything, I am doing select OT8 collections, like this I Am You. Kind of like what I'm doing with Twice. Like I said, not only do I just need this one card, but I've already bought it and it should be coming in my next Yokyo order. So Miro is basically done because I have everything else for it. So that's nice to basically have one of my year goals already done midway through. Honestly, I don't think I will try to finish up like either Yellowwood or Levanter this year. I think I'll just focus on I Am Who, and if I finish I Am Who, then I'll worry about, I'll probably try to move on to one of these Clay era albums. Like, I know for Yellowwood here, definitely needs quite a bit of work. I think I'm actually doing a little better with Levanter, actually. Yeah, so I'd probably work on finishing that next if I finish I Am Who before the end of the year. If not, this will definitely be one of the collections I will aim to finish next year. Once we get past the Clay albums, though, it gets a little sadder. Again, not as sad as it used to be. I have at least most of the Sungmin and the Felix that I need for these. So feel a little accomplished there. But yes, Go Live and In Life, kind of sad. Oh, and recently I went ahead and I purchased the little Leambit coming soon placeholder cards. I wanted to get Wolf-chan too for Bangtan, but unfortunately they were sold out. So hopefully the vendor will send some to the store and restock so then I can have some Wolf-chan as well. I love the fact that I can use these and the fact that these are creeping closer and closer to the start. That's also making me happy because that just, you know, shows how much closer I'm getting to finishing off some of this back collecting. I'm so happy with this page, especially to have like these two. So that's an entire set that is done. Yes. Just yes. Because yeah, in life definitely needs a lot of work. What doesn't need a lot of work, in fact, it needs no work once more, is my NiziU collection. Because I was able to get the Lino, which was like the last card I needed for the jewel cases. So I was able to collect all the jewel case cards. As well, I did downsize, like in general, because I was collecting OT8 for everything until I realized that was just way too much, and decided to downsize. But I hadn't collected the jewel cases for NEXZ, Ordinary, or get the file version. I think it's the file version for Maxident. So while I dropped not doing OT8 for everything, I did decide that I would get those releases, or those photo cards. Okay, so Christmas Evil is OT8 for everything because this was the release that came out after I became a Stray Kids fan. So I wanted it to like kind of stand out, to be a little special, because it is a little special to me, because it is that first comeback that I even pre-ordered albums for it. Okay, and then we move on to Ordinary, where I still do need the jewel cases. Once I have those, then Ordinary will once more be done. But now that I've finished NEXZ in their jewel cases, I'll definitely try to focus on Ordinary. But yes, like Ordinary, of course, was the first album that started to be sold in Target stores. So it made collecting Stray Kids much easier. And I'm very glad for it. Okay, yeah, so with the file versions, you had like the two different cards. And while I've had some for a while, when I started collecting others, I realized that the one I had was obviously, you know, it was so off color. It wasn't like it was another batch like this one, you know, is. But it was like almost a bright yellow. So I realized that I had gone a dupe. And looking at this card and the other one that I have here, I'm pretty sure this is also a dupe, because this is so much darker than what this was. And when I like put this against the dupe, that was like one of the tells once I had an actual like official version, was that one was so much darker. So I am going to have to replace that one. So much work there, but that's okay. That is okay. I'm kind of bummed now though that I ended up buying like not so much unofficial, but bootleg kind of cards. But oh well. I know all these are good to go though. Because yeah, like you do expect some kind of color variation for the different batches, but they normally were not going to be like as different as that one was. And I wouldn't be surprised that if I get another like accident from this set, if this color all of a sudden starts standing out a lot compared to whatever official card I got. So that's a bit of a bummer, and that'll have to be something that I deal with in the future. But yes, hopefully I can finish those. I'm I'm not going to give myself that time frame of having to have it done by end of year, but you know, the sooner the better, because then I can just say like that collection is done. Much like I can say for 5-star, completely done, because at least this is when they started releasing the member versions in stores, which made it so much more feasible to collect all of them. And of course I had to have this as my OT8 set because as card collectors, we love, well, I'll say most of us love the card where they actually, you know, have some kind of prop with them. So this had to be the OT8 set that I kept, especially since it like took me forever to get everything, especially this Lino, but so happy to have them. And this is also the era where they started doing the Nemos for Stray Kids, because this is what this is, the Nemo set. And then of course the cards that everybody has. And then some. All right, and then we get to move on to 8. And I'm so happy I can finally say that I am completely done with 8. It felt like it took forever to complete this era. Big part of that was because I was unlucky enough not to pull this Felix. Thankfully, I was lucky enough to find a listing of where I had this Felix and his other regular edition, let's see, yeah, this Felix together, and it was basically priced about the same for what people were selling this Felix alone for. I think maybe like slightly higher than that, but I figured, you know, if I kind of split up the price between the two cards, it was somewhat reasonable. Even if I did it somewhat unequally. So I went ahead and grabbed that, and I felt so glad for it because I did need both cards. Felix did not want to come home for me that era. He changed his mind with Hop. He came home quite a bit for Hop, but for 8, not so much. And these are the letter cards. Like, you had to pre-order the letters to even get a card with that version. I made sure I did so I had at least 8 cards. I pulled, I think, most of the members. There were a few I still had, or maybe at least half. Maybe that was all. It was just half. I think I did some trades, but either way, this was like the first OT8 set that I wanted to complete, and just because of the fact that they are the harder cards to get, I decided to keep that as one of the OT8 sets. And again, we have more Nemo OT8 cards, and then the units. And that, yeah, and 8 basically ends, well, it doesn't basically, it does. It does end. So maybe, I think I might actually have room to put Hop back in here. I don't know. I have to decide later what I want to do about that. But this is how it stands as now. All right, and this is the second Stray Kids binder. It's still a 2-inch binder, so at some point it needs to be changed out to a 3-inch. But as you can see, there is plenty of room in it, which is why I haven't done that yet. Hop is actually the only release that's in this. That's kind of also why I haven't really thought of putting Hop into the first binder yet. So maybe with the next release, I'll put Hop in that first binder to fill that up. And whatever the new release will be, will be the start of this one. But speaking of Hop, I finally have made some good progress in the past few months. These are the only ones that I'm missing, which are the Nemo. Definitely not like my top choice for what, well no, if I was going for aesthetics, 100%, I do really like the Nemo sets, and really do like having them as an OT8. When it comes to like accessibility of being able to collect it, that's where, you know, I would have had issues, but I got extremely lucky that one of the people that frequents the trading events that I go to on Saturdays, they happen to have extra Nemos with members like Hyunjin, and yeah, I got the Hyunjin, the Felix, and Jungin from them. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember if I got Sungmin or not from them. Either way, I'm pretty sure those three. And because I got the Hyunjin and the Felix, or I could get the Hyunjin and the Felix, it's like, okay, why not just go ahead and make this my OT8 set, or one of my OT8 sets. And yeah, I should have Changbin and Han. I need to still purchase the Lino, but once these three have been purchased and have come in, I will be done with Hop. So I'm feeling pretty good. This is another thing because I wasn't even close to 8 when Hop came out, and it just felt so overwhelming. So I am just so happy I'm at a place where it's like, yeah, I'm basically done with these finally, and I can focus on these older releases and maybe finally catch up. But yes, loving this collection right now. So I have, this is kind of like my OT8 Japanese collections. Starting with Social Path, I was able to find a listing for an OT8 set that was really cheap. These are all like the regular edition cards, so pretty easy to find, but I thought it was like super cute. And since it was really cheap, I went ahead and bought it. And then kind of the same thing with Giant as well. So if I find someone selling an OT8 set for a decent price, I'm gonna grab it. So it's kind of a toss-up if I'll have something for Hollow or not. Beyond that, for the JYP store, every once in a while, I've decided I'll pick up something. I decided to pick up this set. This is from the Toy World fan meet in Japan. I thought it was a pretty cute set, so I went ahead and grabbed it. So not much here, but I know it's going to be growing, especially once, well, I want to at least get one of these JYP Japan store like sets a year. So yeah, it'll grow slowly. It will grow. And now we have an OT8 pretty much first press POB collections. These are the Target cards. this is not. This is, what was it? Yes, an HMV card. And it's like, well, this is, it matches this. It's the perfect aesthetic to like go with this. So I put it in here. Again, where I collected OT8 for the target. And like I mentioned before with those letters, I did get like 8 of them. And so happened that I pre-ordered them from Aladdin, and they had, they had POBs. And of course you got one POB pure letter. So I got a full set, and it's like, well, now that I have the full set, I just couldn't get myself to separate myself from it all. So I kept it. And I was hoping to collect Hop, but people were just being ridiculous about Sean's card for the target card. So I gave up on that. And I'm fine with that, because a lot of the OT8 sets I collect because it's easy. So once it starts getting difficult, it's like, okay, that is not what I'm doing for that part of my collection. I'll fight for it for like the album cards, but not for like extra cards. Talk about extra cards. So we are here in, you know what? I realize I need another section, but that's okay. We're starting here with Sungmin. He is the bias, so I am more than willing to get non-album cards for him. These are all various seasons greetings cards. And then we have POBs, first press. So basically, if I come across a Sungmin and it's cheap, or if it's at the K-pop store, I will buy it. But yes, I did keep his Target Hop card. And this is kind of miscellaneous. So the limited edition pre-order little card there, the little ornament that came with the first Nemo that they did. And this is from the fan club version of Giant, and it's double-sided. I didn't quite have a place for it, so it went on that page. This is various Japanese cards. I believe all the ones up top are like tour cards. This is from one of those JYP Japanese store sets. I know I bought it in a bundle and happened to have it, which is why I have it. I wouldn't mind getting more of them, but I don't see them too often. And this is like more cards for merch. So that is what this page is. And these are from Daikon. I do keep on thinking I should get more, but if not, I'm happy with that page. All right, and I do have some of the Japanese, or the old style cards that they gave with Japanese releases. Do want to get more eventually, but it's not high on my list. And again, I think I do need to add like another section starting here, because this is where we start with the units. And I guess extra pages. I don't know why I have extra pages, but I do. And then we have group cards. This is a Japanese group card, which is why I have it all the way in the bottom. And then I did get a few of their Japanese albums, new, and these are just my pulls from those. And that is what ends this. I do have one more binder, which is the larger inclusion binder. So let's get to that. All right, we are on the larger inclusions. And so I do have the full mixtape postcard set. I do not have a complete I Am Who set though, since I am missing basically Han and cards that he was in. But I have basically everyone else, and the IMU set I have, it is complete. And I did really like hunt them down. I more or less kind of, well, for mixtape, I just happened to find a listing that had one of the photo cards I wanted and also had like all the postcards with it. So I picked that up, and for I Am Who and I Am You, I got them for free. Someone had them, and they were just trying to find new homes for them, so I decided, yeah, I'll go ahead and take them. So that's how I ended up with those. And then other various postcards and postcard sized inclusions. I do need to get more from 8 for these postcards. I do want OT8 of them. It's just larger inclusions. They always come second to photo cards. But I do try to keep like the horizontal postcards horizontal and the vertical. And then for these IMU, I'm only missing 2. I'm missing the Changbin and the Han. And then I'll have the full set. And the weird face card stickers, they have their home here. And I'm just happy with like whatever ones I have of these ticket things. I don't think I'd actually hunt them down. If I get more, I get more. If not, I'm happy with those 3, especially since I have the Sungmin. So these are the mini posters that they did. This is for Ordinary. I haven't really like fixed them in place. Part of me is hoping I can find a 2-pocket page where they'll actually fit. That I could put in this binder. But I have all but Jungin. He still eludes me at this point. Maxident, I should have everyone though. Yes. Same with 5-star here, which I believe is the last release that they did these kind of mini poster things. Which I'm kind of glad because they are just kind of awkward to store. I really would love to get a 2-pocket so then I could use these 1-pockets for something else. Happy to find someone who had this for Sungmin, so I went ahead and I got it. Because he is like the one member I don't mind picking up more larger inclusions for than the other members. This is kind of like a mini poster, but it's like a clear poster. But it's not like terribly see-through. But I got that in, I think, a bundle with other things. I did get, for the limited edition of Rockstar, I did get, actually managed to pull Sungmin's little poster thing. And yeah, I think right now I'm just doing like Sungmin and the random things I have for him. I have this postcard, which I believe was like a bonus for their season's greetings. And this came with the fan club exclusive version for Giant, and they are double-sided. But basically you can replace or put these as the cover in the jewel case. It's a very popular kind of fresh press bonus for Japanese releases. And then we have these little circle things for Ordinary. I have the Maknae line. I need the rest of Hung line. But yeah, they're just kind of chilling in the back because I'm not sure where else to put them. I probably should move them like closer to my OT8 stuff, but oh well. So that is all I have. Again, I just kind of collect as I go with larger inclusions, except I would really like to get more of those HL postcards that came with a limited edition, but it's not a priority. I have so much else that I need to get for Stray Kids that will be the priority. Maybe one day. So yeah, and with that, that wraps up Stray Kids. All right, and we are here with the start of my NiziU collection, which, because I've had to move or change the pages that I get that will fit OT10, I've had to change the binder, but this is their new home. And yes, so pretty much my goal was to finally get around to finishing step by step. I'm still working on that, and I don't think I'll change that. Though I'm very happy that I finally have a complete set for any of their releases. Because there's just a lot of cards, really, for them. So yes, that continues to be my goal, and as well as just picking up, you know, more cards for the rest of their releases. One thing I don't like about this binder is that since I can't lay it down, the top keeps on trying to like go back down. Maybe if I get enough weight. Oh, maybe it'll stay now. I think I can. Yeah. All right. So yeah, just figure I'll just keep slowly working at these past releases to finish up. I've made some progress. I mean, I'm no longer at the point where I have any page that only has a single card on it anymore. Well, for the latest release, yes, but for these older ones, no. I'm moving away from that quite quickly, so. I figure as long as I keep getting a few new cards for these releases, like with almost every Neokyo haul I do, that's gonna be a pretty good I lost my word. But no, that'll create good enough momentum and just keep plugging at it. Because right now, most of my focus is going to be collecting all the cards for OT9 for their first Korean comeback. But I have not forgotten their Japanese comeback or releases. Eee. Man, maybe I should try to focus on finishing up. I just need the Mihi and the Riku. Yeah, I kind of want to just maybe grab those at least. So I probably should grab some more for Awake, as I really only have Nina for that one. Which I wasn't even trying for. All right, so these cards are just random. They're the With You versions, which are kind of the fan club exclusive. So I'm not actively collecting them, but if they come in a set that I get, they will be kept. And I finally found pages that were big enough to actually fit these from their Korean debut. Heartress was the name of the actual play. Press Play, yes, that was the name of the actual single. So this is just basically everything that I currently have. Of course, at some point I would like to have OT9 completed. But like most larger inclusions, I'm not in a major rush. Hopefully you can see like this side of it. Or actually, you know what, for the, no, I'll flip back through. All right, and I have plenty of other pages if I do collect more of them. But yes, for these on the side, I'm still kind of treating them as if they were this way. Otherwise, it would just be a mess. Of course, count on JYP to make sure that, you know, everything doesn't go the same way. All right, so that is this binder. It's just basically for these parts of the collection, as everything else fits in a regular A4. Right, this will be the first binder, because even with like moving part of the collection out, it was pretty obvious that they're going to need the two binders. Maybe not like at this moment, but it won't take long for them to grow. Okay, so they did have one release with photo cards that actually could fit a 9-pocket page, and that's their second album, Coconuts. And I do have all their cards from that. And then we have their Korean album cards. Ooh. Just had 2 sets for press play. For Loveline, there are so many. So very many. I haven't really worked on it, so most of this is just what I've pulled. Oh, I still need to put Micah's in there. Oh well. Oh, why is it Micah? Maya? And I can do that. I don't know what I'm thinking. Maya's purple. This is Micah. That's probably what threw me off. I was looking at her. Yeah, because I have the Rio, the Micah for that. And I am focusing on currently getting the random digipack cards that I need. So hopefully that'll be completed soon. And for the digipacks, I got all 9 versions, and while there was a random card, which was only available with the first press, which was what these were, there was a non-random card, kind of like a guaranteed card of the member of whatever version you got. So I was able to get an OT9 set that way. That's what that set is. And these are the random cards for I know they didn't, I don't think they did a Nemo. I think they had a Polka. I think it was the Polka. But either way, you got 2 random member cards. So these are the ones I pulled. And of course, you did also get 1 full set of OT9 sets with each Polka. So that is that. I do want to have that completed by the end of the year. So that is one of my goals. And so I am trying to collect all of these JYP OT9 card sets. They're from the JYP Japanese store. I feel like at this point I can say I have most of them. There are definitely some gaps, but pretty sure I've already collected a good chunk of them. Basically for every release, even digital releases, they'll have a set. For when they go on concerts, they tend to do 2 sets. And then every once in a while, they'll just have a pop-up event, and that will have a set. So yeah, there's still stuff I need to go back and collect, as also try to keep on it and making sure I pick them up as they get released. I'm doing okay with that. Not perfect. I miss the Awake ones, but for their Loveline digital release, they had a set, and I have that pre-ordered. That comes out in July. So probably sometime in the month of either July or even early August, I will have another buy haul then. But yeah, I think it was, yeah, NiziU University. I'm pretty sure that was the first one I was able to get. Or maybe it was their 3rd anniversary. either way, around here was when I started buying them from the JYP store through Buy. And I think Awake is really the only ones I'm missing. So, yeah. This is definitely a section that still has plenty to grow. Then we have Season's Greetings. I've just been buying the cards. And for a couple of years, they did 2 sets each. But then they went back to like a single set, which either way, I'm fine with. For their latest one, I'm still working on it. That's another thing I'm focusing on currently, is trying to get the rest of them. So hopefully I'll have this done soon. And that's where I end this binder. Because I think just doing the Japanese comebacks, these JYP store sets, and Season's Greetings, that will be plenty to fill this up. Alright, and this is the third and final NiziU binder. As you can see, it has plenty of room to grow, but that's fine. I have a feeling eventually it'll just start taking on things from the first binder. But this is kind of where I'm putting any pobs. For press play, I made Aladdin, where I normally order a lot of my Korean albums from. They had first press bonus photo cards for NiziU, so I got enough copies to to get the full set of 9. Now everything else is basically just Japanese first press or pre-order card benefits. I am just randomly getting like the Japanese store exclusive cards and filling this page up. I want to do an OT9 set, so I still have 3 members I have to get things for, but I'm not worried about it. And then I ended up finding a listing for a whole bunch of Nina photo cards, and I got it. So she now has her own page. And this is a card I got from some merch I bought from the JYP store. It came with this card. I ended up buying more than $100 worth of items for that. I think it was their pop-up. And I got a random card, and that was this Maya. And back here is also other random cards that don't really have homes. I keep on thinking that maybe I should get more of these clear cards and like do the OT9 set, but I keep on waffling back and forth about it, so they're just gonna live there for now. And then we have the larger inclusions that fit here. I got random random allotments kind of these bookmarks from their Season's Greetings, and I just kind of kept whatever I got. I don't have the full set of these clear postcards, but I do have some of them, and then just kind of random stickers and inclusions. Then we have postcards, which most of the time is random, though for the Season's Greetings for the 2025, I'm making sure that when I get the photo card, I'm getting the little 4-cut postcard thing with it. So hopefully I will have these as a full OT9 set eventually. But yeah, the postcards up there, very much just, I randomly got them with something else I purchased. Oh, and for now, I'm putting the Love Live lenticular card back here. I will probably change that up when I get more of those. 2 pocket page, these, like, they call them trading cards. As you can see, they are huge, but they don't quite fit like the 3 pocket pages, so you need a 2 pocket page for it. That said, the 2 cuts that come with Love Live, they also do not fit the 3 pocket page, so that also needs a 2 pocket. With Press Play, you also got these random oh, I'm not exactly sure what they're called, but you know, you can put them in front of your faux card. And there were 4 versions, so I collected all 4. And I just have them. I don't know what to do, so they're just kind of chilling back here. And final section is basically, again, like with the first binder, I'm not collecting with you, but I do have some. I think for one of the cards I needed for Ayaka, it came with all. I'm not sure if these are all of her with you cards. If not, they're most of them, but I ended up with these. And since they fit the 9 pocket page, they are in a 9 pocket binder. So that is all I have for this one. And I am sure in time it will grow and eventually it will actually be needed. So, and I do need to start decorating it too, but I'm waiting to get some extra albums, since with Love Line, it looks like some of the lots of stuff that I'm getting, I'll end up getting extra albums, and once I get those, I'll use one of them for collaging, and this will finally have an image on it. There'll be more decoration. With the Japanese albums, there just isn't as many photos, and plus I don't really like cutting those up in general, so yeah, just gotta wait for like the Korean releases, which is why they're not as decorated as some of my other stuff. So that's it though. That finishes up NiziU, and we are ready to move on to the next group. Okay, and here we are with NMIXX. I think they're gonna be okay for at least a couple more comebacks. But yeah, it's definitely looking like I'm gonna have to eventually get NMIXX their own, or their next binder. But as you can see, I collect Soyeon fully. And of course, when they did these, no, these were the limited edition sets. I ended up also getting the full OT6 Target set to like fill the page out for that one. And this is just all the Nemos, because when they first did Nemos, it was like individual member for each one. So I did an OT6 spread for all of it, because to me that it looked the best than trying to like fit everything onto just a 9-pocket page instead. Spread it across 2 9-pocket pages. All right, and I'm so happy that I'm completely done with Stick Out now. And another one where I got the full OT6 Target set, just so I could fill out this 2-page 9-pocket spread. And then we have the units, and then more units, and this is with the Nemo group cards as well. And then we have the current era, which I'm still working on. It's not Nemo this time, it's like Polka. And I swear, right now, they're gonna be like the death of me, because it feels like nobody bought Polka albums, so I'm having trouble finding cards in general, but we shall see. I just might end up buying more of the Polka. I did get lucky that I have already pulled both her regular and her limited editions. And I decided to go ahead and put the limited editions with the limited edition group or units. So that is what that page is, because it's just a weird breakdown with the Polkas having 3 different random cards for each member. And of course this time they did the shell version, and that came with an OT6 set. So had that fill out this page instead of using the Target exclusives. And then we have the units for the regular edition and the group cards for the Polka. And I'm so very glad that I have this done. I think overall I'm doing actually pretty good with this, despite, you know, having issues finding those Polka cards, as I was not this far along with Stick Out in about the same time. So yes, pretty happy where I am with Forward right now. So past the album, I decided I want to collect a bunch of Soleon's POBs. So I have been doing that. I have collected 2 pages worth for their debut, Admire, or however you pronounce that. And then starting with their first comeback, Antwerp, I am going to be collecting 3 pages worth. I originally was going to do just 3 pages for Antwerp, and then beyond that start doing 5 pages of pops, but I've been thinking about it, and I think it's a lot more sane and doable if I cut back to just 3 for all the releases, starting with Antwerp. So I have already a good portion of what I need for Antwerp, and I do plan on finishing it up by the end of the year. So yes, just need 12 more for that. And I do have like some already for some of the other releases. This is what I have for Xvirgo. And I don't have like all the pages set up for everything yet, but I should probably do that in the near future now that I've decided a more doable goal for all of these. But I do already have a full page for A Midsummer NMIXX's Dream, but this is also where they kind of exploded with how many POBs that they did. So not only do I have a full page, I also have the start of a second page for it. And then I began slacking with pretty much all of the, what is it? FE304 albums. But at least I have something for break. I don't have anything for stick outs. I still did get her target card for forward because there's no way I was passing up on this. This whole set is super cute. So I at least have something for forward. And this is a miscellaneous page. So this is a light stick card. And this actually, I believe, is from an Antwerp. Either lucky draw or pub, but it's like, I don't want to put these little IDs and count them. So instead, I just put them on this kind of random page here on the back. But hopefully one day I can just go through and there would just be nothing but pages of Soyun. That is my hope. That said, I do have a collection of pops and lucky draws for other members. This is, so for my next two favorite members, I mean, Lily is my second, but yes, for her and Bae, because they are second and third, I decided that I do want to at least get 3 cards per release. So I'm good until like up through Midsummer and NMIXX Dream, or yeah, that, and then it kind of falls off. But I have been actually kind of looking for cards to start filling these up, at least for Lily. And like I said, I actually pulled everyone but Soyun, I think, for these cards. And I kept them all. Bae was not originally my third. My third originally was Kyujin, but over time, Bae kind of overtook Kyujin. So I do need to go back for the first 2 eras and get at least 2 more cards to finish this page up for her. And then do some actual work. I'll probably focus on Lily and then move to Bae, talking about Kyujin. I didn't want to get rid of like what I had for her. So debut, Antwerp. For Experto though, I actually got quite a few cards for all the members. So what I want to do is go back for a Midsummer and NMIXX Dream and fill this final row for Kyujin, which I probably should just go ahead and do soon and just knock it out. Like I mentioned before, I pulled all these cards and I couldn't let go of a single one. So instead, I've just kind of started a new page. This is basically going to be for when there's a set like this Target set where, you know, I don't need it for another part of my collection, but I definitely want all of them. They get to just kind of live in this little cheat page. Talk about cheat pages. So there are just some Lily cards that technically I would have to get rid of because they don't fit in with the other parts of the collection, except I don't wanna. So instead, they live in these cheat pages. I have one full one for her, and and then a blank one because I know eventually that'll start. And I do have a little cheat page for Bay as well, which I'm sure will grow in time. Okay, so Midsummer NMIXX's Dream. Like I said, I got quite a few pops for them. So this is actually 3 different pop sets. I saw these like ducky sets or the ducky set from NiziU. Like I really wanted that, and I wasn't collecting as much as I was or I am now, so I could actually afford to do something like that. So that's how I have that OT6 set. I am very happy with that. And then I have random unit page. These are from like Pop or Lucky Straw sets that people would get. These 2 are Barnes & Noble exclusive units. I never got like the 3rd one, so it's like, okay, I'll just put them on this page back here. And then we have Season's Greetings. Season's Greetings and their photo books. I was really good for like their first couple, and then I completely fell off. So it's something that, you know, I do wonder about doing. Technically another cheat card for Lily, but since it's merch, it's back here, as well as the 2 cards that that were with the Mixpedia Pick LA photo book that I got, because I got an unopened version. So these were my 2 random pulls from there. So this is just the photo card binder for NMIXX, and I do have another binder, and that is their larger inclusions. So let us get to that. Okay, so this is my larger inclusion binder for NMIXX. At some point it's another 2-inch that I need to upgrade to 3, but for now it will do. I still have plans to eventually get the rest of the postcards for Antwerp, but not a high priority. And for one of the versions of a Midsummer NMIXX's Dream, it had all these postcards. I decided to actually go ahead and store them. And here is, this is the Pick Paris? Yes. The Pick Paris set, which is horizontal, so they get the top. Basically, with postcards, if they're vertical, I want to put them in the vertical pockets. If they're horizontal, I like putting them in the horizontal pockets. And don't mind too much about things mixing because of that. And I want to say this was like a first press bonus, the hollow one. Okay, and then got the break, where at least I have one full set of OT6. I'm still missing the Lily from the other set, so I've got to keep an eye open for that. And then stick out, I really haven't done anything for, so I just have what I have pulled. And then for the limited edition, you got these stickers. I just kind of kept whatever I ended up getting. I actually pulled the Kyujin, but I was able to get the Soyeon and the Bay and collecting other things for that release. And I finally found a way to store these tickets from Forward. It does kind of make me want to get more of them. To at least fill up the page, at least get like Soyeon's other tickets. Which I might as well get Lily too. But I also need a Jiwoo, because I have no Jiwoo. That's really sad. But yes, this is how I've decided to store them, because they fit actually pretty well stacked up in these 4 pocket pages. So if I want to get them, I at least have a way to store them. And other larger inclusions. Pig Paris had these kind of see-through film strip things. Oh, and I did get Break. I got the signed version, and I pulled Jiwoo. I need to get around to like buying more other signed versions when they come out. It just has not been that much of a priority for me. I've also got to figure out how to do these bookmarks in a way that it doesn't look a mess like it does. Maybe I should get like 6 pocket pages that go that way, or see if they have them. And these are just those stickers from Stick Out. I just threw them all here. So that's just a stack of them. So for their first season's greetings, they had these little circle punch out things that I felt kind of fit a 12 pocket page well. So they are in a 12 pocket page. And more there. And then I have a kind of a bit of a random page back here, which is, well, not random, but I'm storing some random things back here. I've actually kind of forgotten exactly what I want to do with those, but Past Me had an idea, and I'm going to trust in Past Me that, you know, that is something that I will eventually do with them. I will trust in that plan that I cannot remember anymore. So that will finish up NMIXX, and that is the last of the JYP groups. And so we're moving on to the other collections that are not JYP related now. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break from K-pop and go into J-pop with my Stardo binder. I've not been doing much work on it recently. Probably should fix that. But starting off with Kiss My Foot 2. They have a new tour, but I was sad to see that they don't have trading cards this time around. Of course, I would definitely be buying them. Extra page, because my favorite member of the group is Kento, or Senga Kento. Usually just called Senga. So I want to collect any various trading cards of his. And of course I filled the one page, so I have another page for when the next card comes out. So the first tour that they did trading cards for, I got the group cards. Each one was a set of 5. I also got my top 2 members, so Senga and Fujigaya Taisuke, who's usually just goes by his last name, Fujigaya. So that is all what these are. And then miscellaneous larger, not so much inclusions, but like first press bonuses and such. And one of the things that are really popular with like first press bonus items are alternate covers for CDs, since almost everything comes in the standard jewel case. So for their single curtain call, they had a selection. So we had units. Unfortunately for this single, one of the members, Nikaido, he was on hiatus. He has come back though. So we only have 5 members for the stuff for curtain call. And then we have extra, because I do have some of the photos, since this is like the big thing that Stardo is known for like their artists, is that there are so many of these photos that they release. I have some for Yoko Wataru as well. This is like an extra page, since I randomly have this, which looks like it was part of a promotion for one of the tie-ins that they had before. And then we have this set, which Fujigaya, he starred in a drama, and with the DVD box set, you got a set of cards for basically all the Stardo artists that were also in this drama. Because Fujigaya was the star, I decided to just put it here because they're all numbered, so they would look very awkward, you know, kind of split up. So I have this in the back. And then we move on to Timeless. I still need to get Fuma and So for these. But yes, I do want to collect this group since they do look like they're gonna have photo cards in their albums going forward. These though are actually, or this set was the first press bonus, so you got all 3 of them together. I also happen to have one of the group cards. There are more. I'm probably not going to collect more. I'm just going to keep the one. And so this Shori, this came from the Universal Music Japan release of the single Because, which is what all of this is from. I happened to get like a copy of it, and it had his card, which is why I decided to get the other 2, which I still need to do. But yes, that should fill up this page. But for the most part, I wanted to collect for, oh my gosh, what is that and why is it in there? Sorry, Matsushima So, or just So. But yes, he is my favorite member of the group. This is the top 3 are from their first release as Timeless when they were just still 3, which is what their first single as Timeless is as well, with just being the 3 members. This is probably going to remain empty for a while because they just released an album with the new members, since they've added 5 new people, so they're now an 8-member group. And for their photo cards, I thought it was gonna be, you know, like these where everyone individual, but they're all double-sided and they have a different member on each side. So I have a feeling to collect my top 3, I might as well collect all of them. I haven't started with that yet. I'll probably want to finish Because, and then I'll move on to that, but that's going to be a thing I'll probably struggle with, because Timeless, when they did their audition program to get new members, they also got a huge boost of popularity. So they are not as cheap as they used to be, but that's okay. I am very happy for them. So before they were Timeless, they had the name Sexy Zone. It is terrible. It has always been terrible. But Nakajima Kento here, he was a member of the group. He has gone solo. I actually really like his solo stuff too. But I'm not collecting his cards. I got this because I ended up getting their last calendar, because Stardo groups, they release calendars for, which is set up for the school year. So they start in March, not January. But the last one, they had trading cards sets in them for all the members. So that is what this is. So have Kento and Fuma on this page, and Shori and So on this one. And they had a lot of these clear cards, but it worked out perfectly for the units and groups. Cards filled out this perfectly. And I am trying to also back collect some of the cards for pre-Timeless. The sets were more first press bonus and didn't actually come with the album unless you like pre-ordered, and these were, you would get like a full set of cards as your bonus. So I've been working on collecting sets. There are 4 sets in total that I wanted. These are 2 of them, because I think that more or less covers it. I need the other 2. And then early on, they had trading cards with the first pressing of their releases. So if you bought like a newer version of their early releases, they won't have the trading cards in them. But yeah, as you can see, they were babies when they debuted, which is a big part of why their original name was just so terrible. Other than just being a bad name, it was just, it should have never been given to this group. But I do have some Kento, I have a Fuma, and of course, so I'm not sure if I'll actually go back and back collect a lot of that. So one thing they did do is that they had like group cards, but a lot of these group cards had, as you can see, have codes on the back. And for a limited time, you could go to these, use the QR code to go to these sites, and there'll be like a bonus video, or there'll be bonus images that you can download. So that's what those are. They still kind of do it, which is why we have Timeless here, and why we had those Timeless at the start, because I figured I have so many of these, they would be perfect as fillers. Which I will probably continue to use them as. I do not know where this card came from. I'm not sure if it's like official or not. I want to say it is. But since I don't know, it's just gonna live on its own page here. And of course I have extra page because it is a growing collection. And again, this is another one of those CD covers that you could replace or put over the CD jacket image. And this, I'm not sure, I think I just randomly got this, but it's for their 10th anniversary, and they all have like messages from the members there. And then we move on to the next collection, which I am collecting very casually, which is why this is still blank. At some point, I just need to get this set for, it's an OT7 set for the full group. I need to do that at some point. But yes, Naniwa Danshi, of course, I enjoy them, so I collect kind of like my top 3 members. And I have done pretty good for some of them, but then I've kind of slacked off here for the more recent stuff, which I need to be able to go back and check out what has been released and catch up again. Especially for Onishi Urusei, who I do not have like his Alpha and Kyosuro Hikaru cards for. Oh, and I guess I forgot to mention their names, but Ohashi Kazuya is actually my favorite. And then it's Onishi, and then Takashi Kyohei. And this is a sticker sheet. And then I think, oh no, I do have another actual dedicated group section, which is for A group. So for 2 of their releases, the pre-order bonus was like a set of these group cards. So I have that. Hopefully they do at least 1 more so I can complete the page. And then for one of their releases, they also did a full member set for the pre-order bonus. And I need to double check and see if there's been anything else released trading card wise for them. Again, it's another group that these trading cards, they don't come with the album. They're like pre-order or first press bonuses that you get. So it's a little harder to figure out, you know, is there something that has been released for me to actually, you know, collect or not. And then we have random Stardo groups. So for Kanjani 8, back when they were Kanjani 8, they're now Super 8, and you don't have as many members. Subaru and Uro have left the group. But yes, for their album Fight, they had these trading cards that were set up to look like baseball cards. I got the album, so I have it. And I put them away. This is just a whole bunch of random cards that I've gotten from various things. Cartoon, while they were still around. Got some ABCZ because they were in the same company as Timeless were when they just debuted with the previous name. And they did trading cards with CD releases. So got some of those. And recently it looks like if you got like fan club membership stuff, you get like a card as well. So I have a couple King and Prince. I have a Snowman. Oh yeah, I have more Snowman. yeah, so I'm not really big into these groups, so I just kind of hang on to them because I can. Yeah, so they just kind of live in this mix here. I am a big news fan, but they don't have anything that looks like trading cards. I do have some postcards though for them, which is what all this is. And then we have some other random things. Stones. I'm tempted to see, since it looks like they do have some trading cards, I'm tempted to try to hunt down some of them, but I'm not sure. Since, as you can tell, things are kind of a mess. So for one of ABCZ's albums, they had these. I thought they were cute, so yes. I collected them. These are some random photos I have. And then I have these flyers for movies, which star Stardo talent. This is Morimoto Shintaro from Stones back when he was a little baby. He starred in the Snow Prince movie. This is a movie that Tamamori Yuta from Kiss My Foot 2, he starred in that, and Chinon Yuri from Heisei Jump. So, well, the Snow Prince ones I actually picked up when I was in Japan. I even saw the movie while I was in Japan. The others I've just randomly gotten with other lots of stuff and just hung on to. So that is my little Stardo binder. Grows much slower than all the K-pop groups, but I'm quite happy with it. So with that, we can go back to some K-pop. All right, and this is going to be the last binder dedicated to a group, because it's just miscellaneous binders after this. And of course, this is my ATEEZ binder that has my new yet quickly growing ATEEZ collection. I'm not completely set up for all the albums because there's just so much, and I have a feeling that I'm gonna like mess up the order of things. So for the earlier stuff, I just, you know, if I get a card, I'll do a line for all three members that I collect, which Mingi is the fave, the bias, Jungho, then you know. So those are the top three that I want to collect. So I've been getting the platform versions for Fever, and these are basically my polls. And like I said, I've been kind of keeping them one, since they're all different sets. Every set gets a line. I do have some random Jungho. Here we do have, yes, pretty much this is all spin-off. It's not actually set up though for the full spin-off collection. But technically I could, but then I would have to do world, or yeah, the rest of worlds. And I am not quite up for that. I would need to get those albums. That's kind of like the big thing, is that I want to have the actual albums first, and then I can like start fully collecting all that. The only era that I have hit that with is Golden Hour. I have all the Golden Hour albums that have been released so far. So they're set up. And yes, so these are basically, well, not just my pulls, because I did purchase this Mingy, but so that I could finish this set. It's such a cute set too. But yes, so everything for Golden Hour is actually set up. And if I have pulls, then they are there. So there are definitely blank pages because I have nothing for it. Let's see. Yes, this is still Golden Hour Part 1 because this was going to be for Digipacks. That's right. Because there were 8 Digipack cards. This is for the Polka/platform. Just what the rest of it is set up for. Golden Hour Part 2 is the album that I have the most for. May not quite look it. Well, actually, no, it does already. If you were paying attention to the past pages, you can definitely tell I have a lot more Golden Hour Part 2 than anything else. So, yes. Yeah, so for the year, I would like to finish Golden Hour Part 2 as well as Part 3, because Part 3 should be really easy, as it's just those platform/polka whatever albums. So yes. Oh, and I did get a set of these little Byungming placeholder cards, which I'm very happy with. Eventually I will get the rest. And I'll probably need to get another set because I know this current release there isn't like a lot, but or yeah, for Part 3, but I know that's not the norm. So I'll probably at least need 2 packs each for them, but I am slowly starting that. Okay, so for the sections, the first one we have is any OT8 sets I have. And of course, all of these are basically from the Platform Fever releases. They do give you an OT8 set for all the members. So you can tell which ones I have purchased so far. And then we have exclusive sets that I am collecting top 3 for. So I got these glasses sets because they were actually pretty cheap. So I got those. I think I already had the Jungho, and I pulled the Mingy, and I believe I either traded or bought the Yuno, but I have that. I need to finish getting the albums before finishing that one up. Yes, I gotta remember I need the Jungho agent, because I'm pretty sure I should be able to find that one easy with trades. I never pulled Mingy's Pearl card, so that's another one I need to get. I didn't plan on getting top 3 for the Toast cards, but I pulled the Jungho, then I pulled the Yuno, and I just need the Mingy. And no matter what, I was going to get Mingy, so it's like, well, since I have these two, I might as well collect all three. So yeah, that is basically the only way where I'm going to get a store exclusive, that because otherwise it's just the Hello 82 or the US exclusive that I will do top 3 for. Like the Chew cards, those are going to be OT, or not OT3, top 3. While the store exclusive cards, I'm hoping, will just be Mingy. So this is what I have for just miscellaneous Pobs and Lucky Draws that I picked up for Mingy, as well as store exclusive. So I have the Target Bite version for him. Hopefully that is going to grow. I also have one merch card. And then larger inclusions. So this is basically just what I've pulled. I did manage to pull Yuno for this postcard. I have actually pulled 2 Mingy. Very happy with that. And yeah. And once I came upon the idea of like putting these seal things on these Golden Hour Part 2 cards, I just kind of fell in love with it. Which is why I have all 3 there. But at least for one of them, I flipped it over so you can see like the back of it. And for this one, I went ahead and put in the little bookmark that you get for the Digipack for Golden Hour Part 2. So I put Mingy's bookmark there. So that way they all have something going for them that's a little different from the rest. I think it works out fine. But yeah, I'm not too worried about larger inclusions at the moment, which is understandable because there's just so much photo card wise that I need to work on. But hopefully I can just knock out Part 3 super quick. I know some of the regulars for the K-pop store I go to for trading events, they mentioned they've gotten or they're going to get a whole bunch of the Polka version because they did a whole bunch of the like the Make Star and all that for OT8 sets. So I should be able to hopefully get stuff. Plus, I also just bought from Mercari Japan one of them for Mingy, because in that group there is another Mingy bias, so I figured I'll get one myself for Mingy just to help me out. Not to mention I'll be guaranteed at least 2 of his cards that way. Again, I'm Jung-ho, I will never worry about, like never. As much as I love him, because he is my second fave, he isn't very popular, and it breaks my heart because it's like he is amazing. Seriously, he is. But I guess the silver lining, the fact that he isn't popular, means it's a lot easier to collect his stuff. And I don't have to worry too much for the things I'm collecting for him. Unlike Mingy and Yuno, who are more popular. But yes, so this is what I have so far for ATEEZ. I am not going to stress about it right now. Like I said, I just want to focus on the Golden Hour releases and slowly start back collecting the albums I need for them. And once I have all the albums, then it's like, okay, now I feel I'm ready to collect all the cards for them. Especially the ones that I can find that are still unopened and unsealed. So yes, I better wrap up ATEEZ here, or I am probably just going to continue rambling. Like I mentioned, this is the last binder that is dedicated to a single group. Everything else is going to be miscellaneous binders. All right, so we're starting with the random group binders. So we're on the home stretch finally. This is the first one, and we start with my collection of Oda Sakura cards. She is currently a member of Morning Musume, and they started doing trade cards for the first press of their singles, and only their singles, so not the albums, back in 2014. I am still missing one of the cards from the first single they did this with, but otherwise this is actually a complete collection, which I'm very happy about. Or at least complete until their next release. I don't think they've released anything new since the last time I had to update with these. But I assume that they're gonna release something this year. I think I have to double check. But yeah, it's a pretty easy collection because of how they release those. And then we have my Bosokso collection. I say Bosokso because, you know, I was never really into 17, but then I heard their first single and I fell in love. And since it was being sold in, you know, stores in the US, I decided to pick it up and collect members, and it did get me into listening to more 17, and I do like some of their newer stuff, so I consider myself a casual 17 fan, and just a Bosokso fan. So like I said, since I am a casual 17 fan, for each of the releases after Bosokso's first single, I have been picking up at least 3 cards pure release for each member. So that started with FML. We have 17th Heaven. Usually I try to collect the target cards. Of course, for this release, definitely not. Instead, I got the cards from the full sets that the album came with, because that album was so expensive I didn't even buy a copy this time around. And that's, of course, 17 is right here. And yes, then we go back to normal stuff for Spiel to Feels, and then of course we have Bosokso's second single. I'm not completely done, but I did at least finish this page. I just need the 3 cards from this page, and once I have those, then I'll have everything. So that's all the cards from the regular edition, as well as the Target and US exclusives, which I do have complete. So like I said, it's just these 3 cards, and then I am done with that. And this page is for their latest release, Happy Birthday. So I plan on getting, like, the top one is going to be from one of the albums. I think it's whatever the big dark green one is. I'll be getting cards from that album, you know, at least 1 for each member, and then it's Target and US exclusive. So that is the plan for that. And, well, for their first single, I kind of went all out for even the larger inclusions. But after that, just kind of slowed down a bit in general. I think I just happened to pull like all 3 versions of this, so decided to just go ahead and keep it. And whenever, well, anything that's whole group 17 I'll keep, and anytime I pull something for the Bluesky members, I'll keep those. And that finishes up larger inclusions. All right, and then the final group that's in here, because they probably, even with all the downsizing, probably will need to have their own binder at some point. But yes, TXT, I'm not as into them as I was before, but it's still a group that holds a very special place in my heart, and I still do enjoy their music. So I've gone down to just collecting 3 cards pure release for Taehyun for album releases. So these are the cards that I kept. And then I have Season's Greetings, which I do need to actually work on and get more and catch up, but not too worried. And then I decided to just keep the Japanese cards of his that I had. And then we have random cards, which are like store exclusive, pops, whatever. I will pretty much collect, I mean, if I pull it, then I'm keeping it. And that's how I'm gonna go forward. I have more of that here. So yeah, if I find trades or if I come across one randomly, I will definitely try to pick it up and add it to the collection. So when back some time ago, when I was collecting my top 3, I got their deco kits, and I really did not want to break up these sets, so I just have those left over from that. And I do collect at least an OT5 set for each release pretty much since this. So most of the time it's like the exclusive cards or whatever member version they have. I think, yeah, that's what all these are for all the member versions. This though, I got the little plush keychain, and it came with a set of all 5. So that's where my Sanctuary set comes from. Very happy with that, and also very happy to hear that we're gonna be actually getting a physical release from them, an actual album. So very excited about that, even though that's like a month away. But it'll be nice to actually collect for TXT again, even if, you know, I'm not collecting much. But I'm happy with what I have. At some point, I need to kind of get back and work on these things, because I would like more units, though the ones I have are cute and I'm happy with. This is where all the group cards go. If they're not facing all the same direction, it's because I've been putting them up like this way, whatever's upright, and this set and this set, totally different directions, even though these are the same direction. Let's see. And I'm keeping these because I like them. I'm just putting the non-taken back here. Maybe someday I will complete them. I did do like a put Yeonjun and Bumgyu on a shared page, so they don't have like everything here, but they do have some things. Yes, so the overly large group cards and the huge target cards that they used to do. Now they do like proper size ones. But I put Taeyeon on his own page with the group cards, so that way I can get the other 4 to like perfectly fill in this page. And then we have larger inclusions. Where again, for the most part, have just gone down to group and Taehyun, just to make it easy. Well, except for some of these where I do keep top 3 just because it rounds out the page nicely, like for that and for this. All right, and then these little mini poster things that they used to do, which I'm glad they are not doing anymore. I still need at least one of them for Taehyun. Yeah, and I only have 2 of these, but that's okay, because then I don't need another page. But yes, that finishes up my little TXT. Again, they were the group that kind of got me back into K-pop after I'd fallen out for years. So very much a very special group. I never want to completely stop collecting for them. Especially since, like I said, I still enjoy their music. I'm just not into the group as much anymore. And if it was probably any other group, I would have dropped them, but it's not. It is a group I am greatly sentimental about. So, holding on. And that is all that I have in this first binder for miscellaneous groups. All right, this is the next miscellaneous binder. And we start with the Kingdom. Really, I'm not sure where I stand with collecting. I do want to finish collections, but I don't know. With what's been going on, I just don't really have like the drive to finish things. So most of it would be just like getting the rest of these units, maybe a couple Ivan pops to finish that up. Maybe one day find the missing Ivan card that I have, just get again. But yeah, it's gonna be a pretty static collection. Unless they actually do release something, then I'll probably will go ahead and collect. Just right now, just so frustrated with what's going on. I guess that's the pain of following a new group. So that said, we move on to a more stable group. So this is my Maki collection from Team. It's what I basically decided because in my area there's just a lot of Team fans are Lunes. So it's like they have so much, including lots of Maki. And, you know, Maki was the one was my bias from watching their show, and I just love how ridiculous he's gotten as he's gotten older. You know, I never stopped like liking the group or their music. And since, you know, people are gonna have have his cards, it's like, well, then I might as well just collect. But mostly just getting cards from the people who are collecting and team. At first, I was pretty adamant not to actually get anything or like buy anything off Mercari Japan. I am rethinking that, but if I do, it's going to be incredibly slow. I'm not going to let myself get much. Maybe like one purchase, pure like Nyokyo haul, and that is it. But what's really nice, like I said, is that there's a lot of people who do collect, a lot of people who do need Maki cards, so if I get duplicates or whatever, it's not that hard to find someone I can trade with. So that is nice. And so, yeah, these are all album cards. This is all non-album cards. So it'll be an incredibly slow collection to grow. And it's one of those collections I'm just not going to stress about. If I get stuff, I get stuff. If I don't, I don't. So that's where I stand there. Moving on, we have Xikers. I re-picked up this collection, and I'm still fully collecting Zeon for all album cards. He is still my fave. Just missing these two from their debut. Well, also the rock version for, was it the Polka was what they released with their debut. Like, I got the star version, but like the rock version is like near impossible to find. So maybe one day. But if not, if all I do is get like the two other album cards, I am fine. I'm not gonna sweat having that card or not, which is why I don't even have a place for it. So after their debut, House of Tricky, or Doorbell Ringing, because it's all House of Tricky, but yes, Doorbell Ringing. After that, I have full sets for his album cards. And for Watch Out, I even have whatever the platform version is. I have his full set. So this page is for their latest release, Spur. I do have everything, the album cards and the Polka, and they'll all fit this 9-pocket page because album is 6 cards, the platform is 3. So once they come in, I'll be able to complete this page. And this is the little message set that the debut album came with. And this is from the platform. They gave OT 9 sets, but of course I put Sion's on his page, so then that way I could do 9-pocket pages for the rest of the members. And then we have the store exclusive Pobs and Lucky Draws, because they are so cute. You have so many adorable like cards like this, and I want them all, or at least as many as I can get. So this is definitely a part of the collection that is going to grow. I have at least reached the second page, and do have two because I did pull a gold card and was able to find someone to trade it for Seon's gold for Spur, which made me incredibly happy. Also very happy that I was able to find someone selling the little plush otter version, which was a pop-up exclusive. But yes, I'm definitely loving kind of just collecting whatever pop I find of him. Lots of fun. And since they're also cheap, pretty stress-free. And these are merch. This is a Pacific. This was a tour exclusive. I didn't go to their tour, but I did have a friend that did, and they knew that, you know, I was a big Seon fan, so they got me a Seon trading card for it. I'm very happy. And these are the little postcard things that I have. These are upside down. I need to fix that. How did I not notice? All right, and other larger inclusions that I have. Not too much. Most of it is photo card for this collection. But yes, that is what I have for Xikers. Definitely gonna be growing, especially since, like I mentioned, I'm just grabbing whatever pop I find because so many of them are really cheap. So moving on, we got a little bit of J-pop. This group is Wolf Howl Harmony. They're one of the many groups that are under the whole Exile Tribe banner. I really love them and their music. And like a lot of J-pop, they don't do photo cards like K-pop does. They'll just randomly have them in connection to other things. So I am just kind of randomly collecting them. So this is what I have so far. I do plan on getting more of their sets. But again, another collection that I just want to be super chill with. So I'm in no rush. I'm pretty happy with what I have so far. And this is a random page for, you know, when I get the cards, but I don't have like the full set. I put them back here until I have all four, and then I move them to the other part. And one of my newest collections, I recently got into &1. And my favorite member is Kyrell. So I am fully collecting his album cards. This is all from their debut single. I do have the two I'm missing here on the way. I was able to get a set that had most of his album cards for this. So very happy with that. So for One Hearted, the group started to do units, and I decided that I'm just gonna keep whatever unit I pull. Because I do like the full group, and it's kind of a way that I can collect the other members without actually, you know, collecting individual cards. So any unit that I pull is going to be on this page, and I do hope to get everything else for &1, like get all the versions, since there's like 3 versions for their debut single, and they'll all have one of these. So I got one, just need the other 2. Gotta figure out what I want to do with these, because these are also from the debut single, and each version has one. So that's not going to be the exact kind of fit I need for here. One Hearted has these stickers. They also have some other larger inclusions, but they're member specific, and I have zero luck with pulling Kyrell, so I don't have any of them. Maybe one day I will, but not right now. And then we have illit, which I have been following them since around their shortly after their debut. Because what got me into them is that I randomly watched one of their behind the scenes for their promotions for their debut and just kind of fell in love with the group. So for their first release, I collected both Yuna and Iroha. It worked out really well with making all these pages look pretty complete. And the 5 sets are from the Weavers versions, where you do get a full set of 5 photo cards for all the members of the group. For the US releases, they've been releasing these units as, you know, exclusives. So for the first release, they had 4, which is of course Super Real Me. This is the start of their first comeback, I'll Like You, and I'm only decided to only collect Yuna, who is my bias of the group, in full for this release, which worked out well because, as you can see, was able to easily fill an entire page just for her stuff. But then I do have some select Iroha. I don't have this one in yet, but I did buy a set. It has like a bunch of duplicates, but it also has this card. So when that comes in, I will be done with I'll Like You. Again, this is the Weavers version, and put like one of their group cards here. And then for the US exclusive unit cards, they went up to 6 cards this time, and I was able to get all of them. Very happy with that. And then we have my setup for Bomb, which is their upcoming release. I think I figured out that I would need these 2 pages for Yuna. This one would be the Weavers with group card. I believe that's how it's gonna end up being. In this page, the US exclusive units have gone up to 8 now. I'm pretty sure it's US exclusive. They're still units. Because the US exclusive card, if you look at the listing, it says that there's 1 of 8. And since there's 5 members, I doubt it's like 2 different individual cards. It has to be units again. So they seem to keep increasing the number of US exclusive unit cards. But I'm ready for them. And then larger inclusions. They don't have a lot in the way of larger inclusions for their releases so far. So everything just kind of fits in this 1/4 pocket. And while getting the cards I needed for Yuna, I did end up getting one of her pobs. And I didn't want to get rid of it, so it's just gonna live here. I'm not gonna really, you know, hunt them down, but if I happen to get one, it'll just live in this page as kind of like a little cheat page. Because I swear for illit, I'm just keeping with the album release stuff. But again, if I just happen, you know, to get a non-album card because I need, it just happens to be in a set that I need for album cards, so be it. All right, and the last collection I have, I've been going kind of back and forth about it, but I think I will go ahead and collect, because it'll just be 3 cards, pure release, and that's Momona for Mii, which is the Produce 101 Japan Girl Season group. But Momona, she was actually part of the idol group Underroom beforehand, but she graduated from that group, kind of took a year off and came back to participate in this program, and despite like barely getting any screen time, she placed #1 because she had a lot of fans still, and I think she radiates positivity. She is very much a girl's girl, where she was just like the greatest cheerleader for pretty much any of the contestants. You know, she wanted like everyone to debut. So I love her. I do. I liked her ever since Underroom. So yes, I have finally decided I will be getting her cards. And like I said, it's just going to be 3 for each release, which is fine. I mean, they've had 3 releases, their first 2 singles and their first album. So actually, is it an album or a mini album? I think it's an album. Either way, yes, that's another collection, but of course it's one I can be relaxed with because they don't release too often, and their cards are so cheap. So yeah, whenever I decide to actually pick those cards up, I'll catch up in like no time. But that is the second Miscellaneous binder done. All right, and this is a binder I really only bring out when it's time to do these binder tours, because it is a true Miscellaneous binder. It is all over the place. Let's see. Okay, so I was really into Morning Musume quite a bit years ago, so I would actually buy the singles as they came out, and this is basically just my pulls from those. And I do have extra Sakura, and some of them would come with postcards. And this is from a group, Kabushi Factory. For a while I was trying to collect some of them. I may even go back and try to collect more, but the group is disbanded, sadly. I really like them though, so I definitely wanted some cards. Oh, and I do have one single Anjurum card as well. I got some random Anjurum. Country Girls was a group I was really into. Again, another group that has disbanded. Yeah, a lot of these group disbandments are behind a lot of why I'm not into Hello Project groups anymore, because I feel like every time they had a group that I liked, they were not long for the world. But Country Girls, they never did actual photo cards except for this one release, which was a special 20th anniversary release for Hello Project. So I did get the full set for that. I do have some postcards. And then we're into my J-Rock section. which is very miscellaneous and all over the place. Oh, not just J-Rock, I do have some J-Pop, but starting off with J-Rock, Kagura, I really loved this group, or band. They were a band. And these are just, a lot of these cards were cards I pulled from releases. I would like to get more, but it's hard to find their stuff. And then I have some random J-Pop here. All right, and then I have some random K-pop for artists I don't really collect, but I happen to have their stuff. I really liked RM's Indigo, so I have a few of his cards just because of that. And then I have some Yadam, who was a part of Treasure. I really liked his solo stuff, but he seems to have just disappeared now. But I do have his cards still, or the few cards I did have for him, as well as this postcard. Tribe. I am very heartbroken because I don't think they've officially announced it, but everything points to the fact that, yeah, they've disbanded, which is sad. I really like this group. And this is Song Sun from the group. Shows the bias. I think I still have some Mirai cards as well. If I do, I would like to add her to this. Yes. And then we have a whole bunch of Utapri or Utano Prince Sama. Really like the series. I thought it was super fun. So I have a lot of cards from purchasing CDs because it was very much a first press bonus, as well as postcards. As you can tell, my favorite is Cecil. Oh, and I got a full set of this from Neo Wing because I did buy all their best of albums, which are so worth it because it has like all their like singles or songs from their singles on them. And then I have a lot of random anime. I got some of these Sailor Moon postcards. Some other random anime related idol things. Got these Guardians of the Galaxy, a Little Mermaid. Oh yeah, and I do have a collection of the 1995 Fleer Ultra X-Men cards. When I was younger, I collected these, so I just wanted to like see if I could collect them again. I have most of them. There's still a few I need to hunt down, as you can see, and I will someday. Just, I guess when the urge hits, I will, because it was very much a whim to go ahead and like just grab a large set. But I do have very close to a complete set because of that, which I'm actually quite happy with. Those, it's some of this art is so 90s. So very, very 90s. But yes. And then some other random Marvel related cards and pogs. And then I have some gargoyle pogs that I got from Burger King way, way, way back in the day. I never let go of them. So I think I was a teenager when I got these. I love the gargoyle series, so. And then random anime cards. And then random movie flyer. Of course, this is the Star Wars Rogue One for its Japanese release. What do I have? Oh, yeah. So back here is basically cards that you may not be able to see it, but all of them have some kind of damage to them. So I just kind of throw them back here because it's like damage that I don't feel right trying to sell or trade the cards. So instead they just kind of live back here in the miscellaneous binder. I guess at some point I can also upgrade this to 3 inches, but it's not a binder that's really going to grow. So I'm not too worried about it. All right, so with that is my binder tour finally finished. I know I'm very much looking forward to being able to continue working on collections, meeting the goals that I've gone over for those collections. And yeah, and to see what the difference between now and the end of year binder tour will bring, because there's definitely a lot of changes between my last end of year binder tour and this one. So yes. That said, if you're interested in watching those collections grow, then please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. And until next time, bye!
뛰는 소리다.
좀 더 위로, 좀 더 위로, 좀 더 위로. 그래, 그거야.
야, 아니, 너 잠깐만, 너 그러고 있어봐.